I'm saying, so
Thank you.
it's first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Jason, for hitting me up. It's fantastic to Joshua, Veronica, Florence, to all of you. Wonderful. I'm saying that if you got on LinkedIn today, there's two things you see. Number one, Microsoft just laid off 6,000 people this morning, and I don't know if you've all seen that, but this morning Microsoft laid off a bunch of their staff. The AI, basically, the AI change in the world, the AI takeover has begun. And it always starts from the top. You'll see Microsoft layoff, IBM is about to do the same, Google is about to do the same. You're going to see it starting with technology companies and then move into financial industry, then finally get to the development space. What has happened to you, as unfortunate as it is, I think is a good thing. Work with me. You have enough time to be able to reassess your skill set. You are the first out the door, but that means you're the first to be able to have an opportunity to retrain yourselves, take advantage of the skills that are in front of you, and grow them so that you can get back into the workforce, AI enabled. Jensen Huang is the CEO of NVIDIA, which is the company that's making all these chips the world is buying, that has now become one of the most valuable companies in the world. And he said this. He said, AI will not take your job. Someone using AI will take your job. You're the someones. You're the first folks who now have an opportunity to go back into the market with AI skill sets. And I was saying before, I said you have got two advantages. Advantage number one is it happened to you early. I feel sorry for the people to whom this is going to happen to in 2 years, in 5 years, when the real change and a new dispensation of technology has started. But because you're first, it means that the opportunity is in front of you. I'll give you an example. My father, who graduated from university in 1972, was one of the first medical students out of the University of Nairobi. And because he was the first medical student in dentistry, there were more scholarships than his year could absorb. He went to London for a year. He went to Australia for a year. He traveled around the world doing scholarships for free because he was one of the first few Kenyans to finish medical school in Kenya. And he came back and he was one of the first 9 dentists Kenya had. And at some point, he was even President Moi's dentist. He was able to build a career for himself and live well because he was the first to get out. The same applies to you. You are the first to get out. You are in your mid-career stage or early late career stage. Now is the time to take advantage of the tools that are out there. Then I guarantee you the next 4 or 5 years, we will know some of your names very loudly because you'll have taken advantage of the opportunity and made something of yourselves. So I think there's good fortune here and there's an opportunity for you to take it up. And I can't wait to discuss that with you as we have this conversation until 5:30.
In terms of I don't know that to call it the workspace or the development marketplace out there. Let me call it the marketplace out there. And in terms of readiness to accommodate and integrate, these kind of skill sets that most of us now have and use, what do you think is the level of readiness for the market out there for integration into a place
I think
where
that,
we are perhaps too way ahead of,
yeah.
and perhaps there
So,
is even a difference between, there could be, in terms of the digital divide, perhaps in Africa,
yeah,
that could be very different from perhaps, the development and marketplace out in the other parts of the world. How
right.
does that look like?
I think and that's a very good question because you're asking basically what is the ratio of demand versus supply. And I want to be very clear in saying that the development agency space is unique on this continent for two reasons. Number one, there's nowhere else in the world that the demand for developmental skill sets is as high as Africa. Yes, let's talk about USAID, but let's not forget there's also CEDA, and those are two CEDAs, both the one that comes from Sweden and the one that comes from Canada. There's DFID, and then there's JICA and all of those. Then let's move from those national ones to the regional ones. We're talking IRC, ICRC, and everything in between, and World Vision, and that's just the development space. We haven't now moved from the development space and talked about the commercial space, who still work in a pseudo-developmental area. So we're talking about even the Safaricoms of this world, who have got M-Pesa Foundation, who are doing work in a somewhat development area. We used to call it CSR/CSI. That is happening still. There's a lot of demand because even in these spaces, the impact of America's pushing out of the African space has opened up gaps for a lot of Africans themselves to take up jobs that were primarily focused on the expat community. So you're finding a lot of Africans now, whereas before they were looking inward toward Kenya from a lens of being employed by USAID, they are now looking inward to Kenya from a lens of now being employed by an M-Pesa Foundation, for example. And there's other partners, including MasterCard Foundation, Jacobs Foundation, and the like, who are looking to get Africans to implement African solutions themselves. As you all know, there's a very big drive to focus on Africa through Africans' eyes. So I think the demand is there. What is lacking, and I'm not going to be naive about this, is the positioning. A majority of people who have been taking up these jobs have either not been qualified or have not been African in and of themselves. I think here's where the opportunity sits and screams loudly for the 70-something plus, 60-something plus people in this conversation. You have the opportunity to position yourselves now as leaders of these developmental spaces. So whereas you are working as consultants for the likes of the USAID, you are now working as leaders in developmental spaces, and I guarantee you that the seats around those tables exist. So I feel like the opportunity now is really there for you to position yourself as the champion for Africans doing things for Africa, in whether it is gender-based violence, in youth empowerment, in the medical spaces, in humanitarian spaces, whatever space you're in, the space is now empty. A majority of the expats that have been pulled out of those seats have been pulled out because USAID has pulled out. And now it's an opportunity for you to take up those spaces. So I think the opportunity is definitely there, but you definitely have to do more in placing yourself in the right way, in positioning yourself in the right way to take up that opportunity. I hope this is clear.
Response, which I want to follow up with one quick one, but I have also seen the point from Michael Moshiri, and is it possible to harness the contribution that Africans make in terms of remittances, investments back home to create a vehicle that can address development initiatives in Africa? And this may also provide opportunities for professionals being laid off. I think that's a wonderful opportunity there, and I agree with Michael entirely. But Tonee, connected to what Michael is saying, because the US government was fairly ahead, or is fairly ahead in terms of digital technology and so on. When you have to make a transition from USAID, which is the public space, into a private space, is that a smooth transition? Is it something that needs reskilling, new tools, or we've got
So
what it takes?
let me
to
answer
make
that
transition?
as I answer Irene Gadinji's question about AI. Look, let me be very clear, and I want to be very open and very honest. The reason why AI is moving in leaps and bounds is because it's new to everyone. Let's just be honest about that. It's not been in the industry for too long. Even to Michael Moshiri's point, everyone, whether you are in the diaspora or you are in Africa, whether you are in development agencies or you're in commercial agencies or you're an entrepreneur, this opportunity you have mentioned about remittances and investment, it's open to you. But how do you harness it? I think this is the question that you have asked Jason to some extent. This is what I would suggest immediately. Everyone on this call who's under the sound of my voice, pull out your smartphone because I know you have them. Get onto either the Play Store or the App Store, depending on what device you're using, and get one of these or all of these 5 apps. Download ChatGPT, download DeepSeek, download Cursor, or not Cursor, sorry. I remember that. Claude, spelled C-A, I'll put them in the chat. Download Le Chat, which is the French version, and download Gemini, which is from Google. One of those chatbots works for you. And then take it, and I'm going to use my ChatGPT app to do this for you. Take it, open the application, open up a new chat, and that's what I'm doing right now. And then on the new chat for ChatGPT, all of them have a speak to me function, which is a white button I'm going to show you over there. And then take it, and when you open it up, and I want you to do, I'm just going to give a very practical example right now. Speak to it. Now, this is me giving you an example. My name is Tonee Ndungu. I am based out of Kenya. I'm 45 years old, and I have a background in entrepreneurship. I am having a conversation with folks who used to work for or partner with USAID. And these folks, because of changes in the presidency and Donald Trump and the decisions he's made at a federal level, have been let go. And I want to speak to them about the opportunity in the humanitarian space and what they can be able to do with their skill set. And I'd like you to give me some suggestions. Could you give me 5 very specific suggestions I could share with them on what they should do and how they can leverage on AI to succeed? And then I've pushed that button up and I've just said, do it. So what it does is it transcribes my text and then it starts giving me an answer. You can do this now. This is something you can do this now on your mobile phone immediately. This is not unique to me. You can do this now. And then once it's, as you can see, it's writing them down. And I'm going to start playing it in just a moment when it's done. It gives me pivot to an AI-powered localized development. I will read it out for you. And when it's done with all of that, and you can be able to access this, it even gives you the option of playing it out. For example, and let me do this for you so you can hear it, right? So I've now pressed listen.
Suggestions you can share with your audience of ex-USAID professionals on how they can pivot into new humanitarian opportunities and leverage AI to pivot to AI-powered localized development consulting. Opportunity. Their deep expertise in program design, monitoring, and evaluation is still highly valuable for NGOs, local governments, and social enterprises. AI leverage. Use AI tools for rapid needs assessments, predictive analytics for development outcomes, and automated reporting.
And it'll do this for you irrespective of who you are. And this is what I've been telling folks. The reason why over the last year, a lot of my career and my companies, which have now both raised almost $1 million, have been succeeding is because I have made ChatGPT my companion. I have almost 2 years of conversations I've had with ChatGPT. It's allowed me to be able to apply for grants. It's allowed me to be able to write partnership agreements with folks. It's allowed me to be able to come up with new ideas and suggest partnerships. It's allowed me to stay afloat in terms of all the things that are happening on AI around the world. And the reason for that is because it's become my second brain. My point to you is this opportunity is now available for you and you have the time to use it. So the same way you're all saying, how do I get up? Then use ChatGPT to be your brain. Don't just use it for, I want to go and make dinner. People are using it for ingredients and turning it into meals. Give it your life story, give it your career, upload your CV, upload your reports, upload the work you've done, and then say, what opportunities right now are available, for example, on LinkedIn, that I can be able to apply for? What opportunities are out in the world? What grants can you find? Or you find grants and then you use them, you use your knowledge on ChatGPT to respond to those grants. Listen, the opportunity is in front of you. I cannot emphasize more how much the opportunity is in front of you. I have asked you to download 1 of 5 apps and to talk to it like you talk to a person. This is in your hands. Nobody is standing between you and your success except you and Safaricom data connectivity. You're done. I don't know if that makes sense and if there's anything else I should add to that, Jason.
It does. Thank you, Tonee. I'm smiling because I had voted. I thought I was mid-level, but I've realized I'm a rebuilder. I really get the.
I want to speak to that. Jason, everyone
That
in the
was
world
really
right now,
nice.
everyone in the world right now, I dare say, is a rebuilder. And it would be ignorant for anyone to think that their sector will not be changed by AI. It would be crazy to think that. Let me give you context. When ChatGPT 3 came out in November 22nd, 2022, its IQ was roughly 100. When ChatGPT 4.0 mini came out just a few weeks ago, its IQ was 180. Einstein's IQ is 160. In a year, when we are facing ChatGPT 5.0 mini or ChatGPT 6, its IQ is estimated to be at 500. There is absolutely no human on the planet who will be better than an AI chatbot by the end of 2026. That's a year and a half away. That's 18 months away. So what is it going to look like in 2 years when PricewaterhouseCoopers and Deloitte and KPMG and Ernst & Young are doing all their auditing with AI chatbots, which cost $7 a month versus $7,000 for their employees, whether they are in Indonesia, in Hong Kong, in London, in New York, or in Nairobi. So you are in a fortunate state of being affected early. And now you have 18 months of runway to reskill yourself by just downloading a tool and using it. So Jason, yes, we are all there. I am also there with you. And I will keep learning as I go, but I will take advantage of it because I have time, which is what most of the folks who have a 9 to 5, 9 to 7 work Monday to Saturday don't have. So yes, we are in a very good place, my friend. Very good place.
Thank you, Tonee. And thank you too for the comments from Francis, Sheila, and Jackie. I think they've been using this for long. Patrick, thank you. I've seen your feedback. Tonee, I want to get into a poll based on just what you have said, but this is very personal. Do you think my work as a consultant is at risk here?
I'm going to tell you this, and I want to tell you this with so much clarity. If you are a consultant, work is at risk. If you are a consultant using AI, your work is going to explode. You will be the one taking all the other consultants' jobs. As I said before, chat AI is not going to replace people. People using AI will replace people. I want you to be the person using AI. Let me give you an example of it. There's a lot of AI experts in Kenya. I do not know how to code. I have taught myself everything I know about AI on YouTube, every single thing. And then in October 2023, which is not last year, the year before, my friend Sebastian Wafula insisted that I should get on social media. He said, I'm good at telling stories. And so I did. And I talked about AI a great deal. And what happened was a lot of the content I created started being shared amongst people in AI communities around the world. And now I am being invited to different countries, fully paid for trips, business class, to be able to speak about the opportunities for AI in Africa. What did I do different? One thing. Number one, I put myself out into the world. And number two, so it's one thing, but it's in two parts. I showed the world what I could do. The one thing I did was I expressed myself, or I put myself out there. I took the risk. That's the one thing I did. I took the risk. There's so many people who have got so much more expertise than I do, but they're not willing to take the risk and put themselves out into the world. So to you who are here, there's no one who's going to come and take your job as long as you engage with AI and are loud enough to the world and show them what you're doing. I'm not saying go on social media. It's not for everyone, I accept. But get on LinkedIn. Do a white paper on why AI is going to affect your specific space. Write a short 2-page report. Put a paragraph out. Let people see you in this new place. They're like, oh, Florence used to be doing this and that. And now she's coming up with ways in which AI can support the things she does in this and that space. Someone in Australia will see it and be like, this is what we need. We need somebody thinking outside the box, whether they're from Kenya or wherever they are from. So this is the opportunity you have that your colleagues in other companies or organizations that have not been sent home don't have. Show me what you can do with that AI tool. And I've seen people here saying, Ida is saying she uses Claude, and more folks are doing. Show me what you can do with it. Boniface, what are you doing with it? Francis, what are you doing with it? Sheila, what are you doing with it? Jacqueline, what are you doing with it? You've had it 2 years. Show me publicly on LinkedIn what you're doing with your ChatGPT tool. Let people start following you. Let them start seeing you. Put up a write-up. Go on ChatGPT and say, give me a picture of a situation where it gives you a piece of art. Post it. That's how you start leveraging on AI. That's how you make sure that you're the consultant Tonee hires when he wants somebody to do something in the development space, but wants somebody who's AI ready. What does it take? 10 minutes with ChatGPT. If you do that twice a week on LinkedIn, the job is yours.
Thank you, Tonee. I want to echo the words of Joseph Mungai, because I'm in that category. This YouTube advert on AI for over 40 and 50 is a real thing. I came to moderate, but I'm so excited to listen. Now that thing makes sense to me. And when Tonee says the people will replace the rest are the ones using AI, now I get it.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the question Irene raised, and I want to put out a poll here for us. Basically, this is to measure in terms of our biggest barrier to leveraging on digital skills. When you listen to Tonee, I want us to put to poll, how do we feel? Do you feel like you don't know where to start? Do you feel you are short on time and motivation? I'm putting out a poll out there. We want to see, yes, there you go. Based on what that very illuminating exposure by Tonee, that was really fantastic. What's your biggest barrier to leveraging digital skills right now? Please take one choice. I don't know where to start. I'm short on time or motivation. I don't see how it connects to my, now that will not get anybody, I think. I'm overwhelmed by the options. The job market in Africa isn't ready. What do we think? So let's see what is the audience. Yes, Patrick Madori, I agree. That advert is real. I agree. So there we go. 35 have voted. I'm overwhelmed by the options. Yeah, I hear you guys. I don't know where to start. So far, 46% overwhelmed by the options, 30%, I don't know where to start. Short on time and motivation. And then the job market ain't ready. Interesting. Let's more of us vote. There we go, 40. Let's keep voting. And we want to see what we pick from that. And I see Marceline's question. Tonee, employers don't want any trace of AI guidance in CVs. It's clearly stated on job adverts. It's an interesting one. I will be happy to hear how Tonee responds to that. And I think that's what Mushiri is making, the point Mushiri is making as well. Let's vote. We are 47. How many are we now? We are 70. I'm waiting for the 50th. So as we wait for the 50th, Tonee, I hope you can see the question. I really like the point Marcelina has raised there, and Michael as well. Employers don't want a trace of AI guidance. So, yeah. So I hope Tonee, you can speak to that.
Yeah, I'm reading them.
Leah was hearing from Tonee 2 weeks ago, working on a document and purify. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Leah. I see two from Priscilla, and I wished we could also get someone from HR. Is that all the votes in? We have 45% are overwhelmed by the options. That so far is the highest. And 29% are, I don't know where to start. The job market ain't ready, 10%. And I think this speaks to the point that Mushiri and Marcelina are raising. Tonee, do you want to start with that conversation in terms of readiness? Is this something that we need to start getting worried about or concerned about?
Yeah, let me speak to you. Let's keep the poll there so that so we can have a conversation about it. Now I want to start with the first one. I don't know where to start. Let me give you the two things you should do. Number one, download a chatbot. There'll be only two things. Number one, download a chatbot, start talking to it. That's the first. Only two are set. That's number one. Number two, if you want to understand AI simply, I've put a YouTube link that I would like you to go watch on the chat. It's going to it is one of the simplest explanations of artificial intelligence you'll ever see by somebody who worked in most of these companies. It's quite a lot. She simplified it. It's 1 hour 47 minutes, but it's YouTube. You can fast forward, and she does it using little images, like little. I'm even allow me to share my screen just quickly, so I can show you what I mean. Here, share. So I'm gonna come back. You can see she does it using cars, and it's such a simple, very easy way to do it. And then it also helps you see, because she's talking about how to make money with AI and how to help it improve your life. She's speaking to the challenge that you're having, right? So the link is there, and it's clear. I just want to make just tell me if everybody has. Tell me if everybody has. Can you see it? Just maybe somebody say
Yes. Like car is not just one thing.
Okay, great. So I'm going to remove that sharing, and then I'm going to ask you to put back the poll, so that we can continue with the poll discussion if I may. So do you mind resharing the poll? I don't know if that's a possibility. Yes, let's see if the poll is there. Okay, fantastic. All right, so hopefully that's a good place to start. Get a ChatGPT type. Get ChatGPT type. Chatbot. Ask the question. Ask ChatGPT. Ask Chat. This is who I am. This is what I do. How do I start? And ChatGPT will speak you through, or Claude, or whatever you're using, will talk you through how to start. If you're short on time or motivation, let me speak to being short on time. You spend 30 minutes a day on your AI chatbot. That's enough. I usually try to do that. For me, I use it all the time, every single moment. At least every hour, I speak to ChatGPT at least 5 times. But when I started, I would do it in the morning, quiet time. Before I've checked my phone for WhatsApp, before I've done that, I'd sit down and I'd be like, ChatGPT, this is what I use. What is my plan for today? Based on the things I'm trying to accomplish, where should I start? And I used to start by creating objectives for the day. 30 minutes. At the end of the day, I talk to it about what I've accomplished. It remembers for the next day, and we keep going. If you're short on motivation, this is an interpersonal issue, and I totally understand it. And I feel here there's an opportunity for us to speak about the trauma and grief of losing a job. And there's a space for you to speak to a professional. I think it's very important for us not to glaze over this. It's very difficult when you lose a position at work, because a lot of us, the first thing you ask somebody after you ask them what's your name is you ask them, what do you do? And when that carpet is pulled from under you, it can be devastating. So I think there's space for us to have a conversation with a professional, right? And I think it's really important to have that. That should sort your motivation out. And I think it's important to do so. On the next one, I don't see how it connects to my knowledge base of interests. AI is like the internet. It's in fact being compared to electricity. It may not connect to your knowledge base of interests now, but I guarantee you it will have more impact on your knowledge base of interests in a few months than you would even be comfortable with. My suggestion is get engaged anyway. Just get involved. Start somewhere. Put aside a few minutes to start somewhere. I'm overwhelmed by the options. I understand this. This is why I've said just get one chatbot and then watch the video I've shared. I think it's called the analysis paralysis process can keep you from moving forward. Pick one and move forward. I think that gets you away from having to look at all those. I've seen that advertisements of if you're 40 and above, ignore that. Just get one chatbot and use that. The last part, the job market in Africa isn't ready, is the part I am personally loving the most. Because so many people think that for those who don't think that way, the opportunity is wide open. context, the UNDP needed somebody to pull off an AI implementation tool in Unilag, or University of Lagos. And they were looking for someone to do it, and they couldn't find, until one of their staff members saw a video I did where I spoke at the G7 in Rome. There's a whole story about I flew to New
We
York.
lose Tonee?
I'm still here. Did you lose me? Can you hear me? Oh, is it?
Yeah, for like 5 seconds.
Ah, okay, here I am. So I'm saying, as people are saying the job market in Africa isn't ready, I said I put something on socials. I happened to have gone for a trip in Rome. I spoke up at the G7 again because there was nobody who was available to do it. I ended up in New York, courtesy of their payments, to fly and see the Assistant Secretary General of UNDP in Africa. And I got this engagement to deploy AI in the University of Lagos in Nigeria. There are 260 million people in that country. There are 50 million people in this one, 56 million. And between Kenya and Nigeria, there's another 200 million people standing in between. What was the opportunity? The opportunity was there was no one standing up for African AI. And because I took that opportunity and spoke to it, both on my socials and my LinkedIn, I was invited to do the engagement. What I'm telling you is the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there because people think the job market in Africa isn't ready for AI. The analogy I'll give you is a salesman goes into a new country and finds that nobody has shoes. Which one of these salesmen will you be? Will you go back to your boss and say, let's not open a factory there? Nobody's wearing shoes. Who are we going to sell to? We shouldn't open a factory. Or should you tell your boss, let us go and open a factory there? Can you imagine no one has shoes? We must make sure everybody's wearing the shoes. A big adage is put this way. Whether you say you can or you cannot, you are right. It is really based on what you decide. I have decided I can, and therefore I am doing it, even if my skill set isn't as high as one who's professionally involved in AI. I will end up hiring that person to do the work for me, but the opportunity is mine because I dared to try. And that's my point to you. Dare to try, even when you think there's no market for it. You'd be very surprised in 2 years, this thing that you are ignoring is the thing that makes your name be spoken out commonly in development agencies as the person who's the go-to person because you were the first to do it. As we said before, first mover advantage. You just need a chatbot on your phone and to watch the YouTube link I've sent you.
I've seen the point that Rosemary, I hope you are getting the confidence that AI is for ordinary people.
Yes,
But
Rosemary,
there is a conversation that is on the chat box between Priscilla and Michael and who else? Marceline. Tonee, if we are talking about AI, as I'm talking of it as a user, okay? I'm not an AI, I'm not an IT guy. I cannot promote it. I don't know all these things. Like, I don't know 10% of the things you are saying. But I can do what you told me to do because I've actually downloaded one. And now, if I put it on my CV, employers flag it as you have used AI to generate information, and that this is becoming a hindrance. Is that something you can speak to in terms of the readiness of employers to embrace? I think this is the question that the team is asking from Priscilla and Marceline and Michael. Do you think we are there yet?
Yes. This is a very easy question to answer. I dare you, when you're writing a CV, do yourself the favor of once you've written the CV and you're checking the CV, you make sure that you edit it out yourself, right? As I said, I was talking about the UNDP project. As per requirement, I did have to create a CV. And I used ChatGPT to do it, put my information there, my qualifications, all of that, and it wrote it out for me. And then I put it on Google. I don't use Word, I use Google Docs. I put it on Google Docs and I change the text so that it fits the person I'm applying to. And I use that and I put it on my server for the application. and it was successful. I think to your point, your question about the text that comes out of ChatGPT, edit the thing. Put some effort. Make sure that if it's too wordy, you make it short. If it's too short, you make it wordy. Whatever it is you need, be involved. Don't be lazy. Do the work. Number one. Number two, this is important. There's a way in which you can sell your skill set so that anybody who is looking to employ you sees you as a future-proofed employee. They're not going to employ you short-term. They're going to employ you long-term. AI is that tool. And if an employer doesn't recognize that, I guarantee you that's the wrong employer, because in 3 to 6 months, they will sack you again, or they'll push you out of the business, or they'll say you're not the right person, or they're not the right fit, because they're going to be pushed out of that space by an agency that is using AI. I've been part of implementing agentic AI in some of these agencies, and they have given us NDA, so I can't mention them. But I can guarantee you right now, there's 2 agencies in Kenya that have already started planning to pull out or push out staff over the next 4 months. And you're going to hear it, and you're going to know you heard from me first. Because about 30% of the workload that the agency has is now being dealt with by 2 AI agents that work 24/7, make less than 90% error rate. So they have less than 10% error rate. So they'll need 1 person. But a whole department of 12 has been reduced to 1 person because of 2 AI agents that cost $7 a month. $7 a month. That's 1,000 shillings times 2, 2,000 shillings. And they're going to finish off the process. How long before that process is adopted by other agencies? So to that specific question of AI in your CV, get involved and do the work so that AI doesn't write everything, right? But number 2, in your CV, add that you are knowledgeable of AI tools that can benefit the organization, lessen the workload, and increase the efficiency at reduced cost. That's something you have to mention to future-proof the organization from the changes that are happening in the world. I think if you do those 2 things, you should be safe. From a good employer, at least. We can't guarantee every employer is thinking that way.
Sure. Thanks, Tonee. And then 2 questions again. One from Lynn. I think you can see that on the chat box. But I also have Ranel. Ranel wants to make a comment. Ranel, can you ask make your addition?
Yeah.
Or question?
Really quick. Good to see you, Tonee. I'd anticipated moderating this, and then I got pneumonia. So it's great to be here as a participant. One thing I want to ask or comment on, I see a lot of familiar names, Joseph Mungai, Sheila Karani, people who are expert in the work that they do. And so does using AI, because I've used AI to leapfrog competencies that I don't have. Been able to build a website with AI. I don't know how to code. I'm not a power user on Excel, but I can do some sort of analysis that someone like Joseph Mungai can do with statistics software. So does this mean that the proficiencies in some of the traditional competencies that we are expert in, or a lot of panelists are expert in, are no longer needed because of AI? Should we be thinking about becoming certified data scientists or statisticians to be able to use SPSS and all these things? Or do we not need that anymore? Do we need to just master AI?
That is such a good question. And it's actually underpinning an ideological conversation that I was so fortunate to have at Harvard Business School less than 2 months ago, where we talked about the power of the generalist. Let me give you context. Previously, I'm looking for a tool I can use. If you think of a spoon, previously a spoon could only do one thing. And we were known to try and be like spoons, where you are trying to be a subject matter expert, which is what a lot of people feel pride in being called. But in a generation where AI can come and generally do everything 80% better than everyone, is your special skill set valuable? Or is it more sensible to be a generalist, kind of like a Swiss knife, where I can pull out a knife if I need to, I can pull out scissors, pull out a fork, pull out a spoon, pull out a saw, pull out a bottle opener? There's power in being a generalist when being a specialist adds no value. So to your very powerful question, you don't need to learn data science. In fact, it is to this point that I think it was Rosemary asked, Ms. Mbogo, do I need to be an expert at AI? No. Ranelle has just talked about building a website and she doesn't know how to code. This is a whole website. It's got pages, it's got a theme, it's got colors, it's got images. She didn't know how to code. That means that there's a website developer somewhere in the world that's not going to get Ranelle's money because now Ranelle can do it for herself. How many more things can she do for herself? Doesn't it make more sense for Ranelle not to learn data science, not to learn coding, not to learn machine learning and AI, to just use the AI tool? This is why I've gone back to my previous point of saying AI will become very much a utility like the internet or power. There used to be a time young people used to go to IAT, which is a training facility here in Nairobi about 20 years ago, to be taught how to use the internet. I'm going to leave you with that for a moment. We used to teach people how to use the internet. Now everybody has it on their phone stat. Now my children, 14 and 12, are digital natives. I've never taught them how to use the internet. For them, it is like electricity. You walk into a house, you put on the light and the power goes on. That's what AI is. And everyone here is in the early stages of seeing this revolution. You don't have to learn anything special, Rosemary. Download the chatbots and use them. And to the question that Leanne has asked about ethical AI use, again, you are professionals. And I keep speaking to you being professionals and saying, don't plagiarize. Get involved in the content. Upload your own data. Try your best to put as much of yourself in the content that is created as possible. Don't cheat. This is where, the value of AI will be found. In you taking what you have and supercharging it, not in you cheating by taking what somebody else has created or not doing the work. You are subject matter experts already. I actually believe this is the point of AI. Let's make you superhuman by making you more efficient, more eloquent, and just more productive. And this is what AI generally does. You're going to do 50% of the work 100 times faster and be able to get 500% more efficient at what you're doing. If we can do that, I think there's a lot of power in the things that you're going to be doing with AI.
Then there's a last question there from Lois. Can you, it's a quick one. Are there people like you who train like on AI and associated tools?
Yes, there are. As I've had the good fortune of training quite a few companies myself. We're not many, we're about 4. In the whole country, we are 4 people. 4. None of us have a degree in AI at all. And we're training the likes of Deloitte, the likes of KPMG. We just did Safaricom maybe a week and a half ago, UNDP. The list, I think we're on 20 companies now in 5 countries. That's already an opportunity for you. It's an open space. And again, what did I do? I spent my time behind YouTube videos, watching, learning, understanding. And I picked up on certain things that I'm interested in that I want to teach on. For example, ERPs, customer success, human capital, human talent advancement, and technology, specifically in education and finance. Those are the things I picked, and those are the things I'm learning. But nobody's talking about gender-based violence. Nobody's talking about universal digital identities. Nobody's talking about medical toolkits and tool sets. Nobody's talking about diagnostics. Nobody's talking about using data like SPSS and interacting with data from malaria or supporting county governments in registering people who have of low income or people with HIV and AIDS. No one is talking about that. That could be you. So to your point of who's doing the training, we are all learning from YouTube. We are very small. It's a small market. It's a big opportunity for you. I think you should take it up and learn what is out there in the market, and then become a consultant to all the clients that are out here who need your help.